Well, since the last time we got together here on the Union Station project, I was trying to redo this joint on the back because the angle between the two wings was not quite right, and I'm taking off the clamps here to try to assess my handiwork here to see if I got this right. And I hope I do. Try to move this back up where it belongs. Get this set right. And it appears to be pretty good here. I have to move this down just a bit and make sure it's right on both ends here. So trying to get the station to sit right on the elevated platform. Looking at the back of the station here, and pretty close here. I got the columns right to the curb on that end and right to the curb on this end. What do you know? So you kind of see how long this thing is, and a lot of work to make sure I get the footprint right here. So what I've had to do is fill in this little plug here. It's going to take a few more pieces to fill that in, and I'm going to try to make it look like it's supposed to be that way and not just another botch job on the back of the station. On the inside there's a few little pieces that are glued together to help bond that joint a little better. I'm going to have to add a few more pieces to strengthen this joint so it doesn't come apart. So that's where I'm at right now, trying to get this little bit in here. I can see the walls were pretty uneven. The angle between them was kind of odd, and this little plug in here is I'm gonna have to fill that in with some putty and so forth, and maybe put a little pieces of trim on there to kind of try to make it look like it's supposed to be that way, but we'll find out here once I get a little further along. And you'll have to pardon me, I've got some nice time off for a vacation, but of course I've got a cold, so anyway, that's where we're going to start. I'm going to try to work that joint a little more, and once that is done, once I get that joint in there nice and solid and filled in and sturdy, then we'll come back with the roof panels on this and see if we can finish off the roof on the south wing. And then I jumped the gun a little bit, thinking that this whole piece was finally all in one piece. I had to break that joint apart and redo it, but then perhaps we can declare this thing all one piece. You can see I'm gonna have to fix the roof there because the roof panel wasn't quite right, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. We'll fill that in and move on from there. So that's where we begin the update on the Union Station project. Alright, I've been working on this pesky joint in the back of the station here between the north and south wing, and I'm trying to get these joints to sort of look like they're supposed to look this way, but it's a bit of a challenge still. But I've added a few little pieces here and there to try to sort of mimic the details going through here. This has been a big plug that I put in to fill the gap mainly, and I've come back in with a few little pieces to try to suggest that the wall continues over that plug, and some of the details here right there, and also so forth. So next is to try to paint it and blend it into the rest of the building to try to disguise as much of the fudgery as I can back here. So we'll take a look at that in a few minutes here after I get it colored and painted. Well, I'm going to consider this this patch job to be done. Here you can see it's filled in. Try to get some light on it there for you. I think that's about as good as it's going to get, and once again it's in the back of the building, so one of those little fixes I can maybe sort of sweep under the rug, because it's, like I said, it'll be in the back of the building and not quite as noticeable. So boy, if I'd approached this project a little differently from the beginning, there's lots of problems I could have solved had I kind of done a little more research and gotten more familiar with the building materials and the plans and things. So but some fudgery here to fix in this, fill in this back gap here, and a little bit more work to do around filling in gaps elsewhere on the station. And once I get that all filled in, I'm going to put on the roof panels and see if we can get this thing done on the street level here. Alright, one more look at the joint back here between the two wings, north and south wing. And once we get this finished, I'm going to try to do a lot of little patching and filling. I've done some filling in the corners here that need to be got a little rough, and so I'm trying to fill in the corners, do a little puttying there to fill in some of the light leaks in that corner. Also just taking a little rough look at what the stairwells and elevator shafts are going to look like here. I've got two of them kind of roughly in place here on the center concourse. Have an idea what that will look like when the stairwells are in place. Back at the station, you can see the 4 tracks leading in. Tracks 1, 2, 3, and 4 starting from here in this position. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've got the second platform I need to build. I got the first one in. I need to put in platform 1. This is platform 2. But just taking a rough look at where the stairwells will be. There'll be 2 here, of course. There'll be 2 on this side, and then down here, way down here on the far-flung south wing concourse, there'll be 2 more stairwells and elevator shafts here. Right now I've just got it propped up with a glue bottle there for now, but eventually I hope to get all 3 concourses finished. This is the work that's going to have to be done in the back of the station. That's where I'm going to be turning my attention next once I get all the roof panels done. Got to finish up the platform itself. I got to get the rest of these diagonal braces in here. You can see those are missing on this last portion of the platform there. I got to get those done. And a little bit touch up here and there, but that's on the agenda for the remainder of the back half of the station. Well, here's another light test. What do you know? We finally got lighting through the whole station all the way over to the south wing. Whoopie-doo. Got to get the roof panels on here though, but anyway, lights are on and working and shining. for the whole station here. Whoopie doopie doopie. Looks a little dark here in the middle. I might have to add a light or two there because a lot of the exterior light brightens up each end of the station. However, in the middle here it's a little dark, so maybe a couple of lamps, extra lamps in the middle there might kind of balance it out a little bit. Who knows? But anyway, that's where we're at with lighting. Oh boy. Okay, I got this back up on the platform again. Whole station all up here on the platform one more time, the main platform. And in the process of getting the north and south wing joined together, I had to do a lot of sanding and puttying in the back here to get that back joint looking okay. In the process of doing that, I managed to knock out a few teeth here in the front, which kind of gives me an opportunity to look at this a little closer because not all these columns are lined up. They're a little off, but not bad. But the other problem I had was that they would not quite come all the way down to the base here, and they look like they're kind of a little bit not quite hitting the bottom here, and they look, when you look close at it, it just looks a little weird that they're not quite right there down to the bottom. Some of them are, but others aren't. So I'm going to be looking at this a little bit, see if I can get these to kind of even up a little bit and figure out a way to get these flush to the bottom while being even with the top. And it's going to take a little bit of filling in here and there. You can see this one's actually just a little short. It might be because this one's a little long. It's hard to tell, but I'm going to be working on trying to straighten up the front ends here a little bit. Also going to be putting the roof on the south wing over here. Oops, get that in place. There we go. Pretty much having to redo the roof panels here because the original panels didn't quite fit together very well. So after all the fooling around on here, I think it's just as well to come up with some new panels. Also on the inside, you remember on the north wing, I put this little tiny curb on the inside there. You can see that. I'm going to do the same around here on the inside of the south wing so that I can make sure that the footprint of the building is in the right place each time I put it down on the platform. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of work here, getting this adjusted and make sure that it sits right on the platform. Okay, I've been working on putting in just a little tiny shim right up here underneath this base of this arch. I've shaped it and sanded it and got it to the point where this column slides right in underneath there and sits flat on the ground, and I'm going to glue this in place here, make sure it's straight with the other columns. So little things like that I'm trying to do along the front here, and I'm going to have to do it in a couple other places. There's another one that's kind of floating off the ground, so I'll have to fix that. Over here on the other side, I got another one that's, you know, floating off the ground, so I'm going to have to do a little adjusting here. I want these all to sit flat on the ground and not be floating, because I notice it quite a bit when I try to zoom in and maybe take some close-up shots. So far, some of these columns are just kind of floating off the ground a little bit. Here's another one. This one's going to have to be adjusted a little bit too. It's not quite hitting the bottom, so little adjustments here just to kind of help straighten things up. Well, I've kind of been struggling with the station here a little bit. Tried to get it to sit right on the platform, and of course having another big setback here where the whole thing just does not want to sit flat without rocking up and down everywhere. And I think I may end up having to redo these joints again because this end of the station is kind of popped up a little bit, and trying to get these joints to stay down, I just don't want to stay flat on the ground here. So the whole thing is kind of kittywampus. I try to put it on a big flat surface, and it needs a lot of work here to get this straightened out. So think we're going to end it here. I think I may need to take a little break from this project if I'm going to have to break apart this joint and do it again, because the whole thing is just not sitting flat on the bottom. So the whole thing just kind of rocks up and down here. So another big setback here. I'm going to have to figure out what to do with that, but I think in the meantime I'm just going to take a break from this project because I've had a few frustrations with it, and going to set it aside, think about it for a while, see what I can do. So been working on this for almost the whole year. It's up to October now, and I've hardly done anything on the layout all year long, so I think I'll be turning my attention elsewhere for a little while, because this is just a big problem that I just don't really have a good solution for right now without having to break it apart and try it again. So gonna leave it here for now. Once again, to thank everyone for stopping by and following the video series here. But I think for now I'm just gonna have to leave this and think about it for a little while, because it just won't sit flat on the platform. Too many big gaps around the bottom, and it's kind of been one problem after another lately. So trying to get these wings joined together is still a challenge, and like I said, I think I'm just going to take a break from this for a while and work on other things. So thanks again for stopping by, for watching, so forth. Happy railroading to everybody. Thanks for coming, thanks for staying, thanks for watching, and we'll figure out what to do with this thing some other time. So once again, thanks for stopping by.